At first glance, the success of the Steam Deck does not make any sense. It doesn't have the highest resolution or refresh rate screen. It's not the most portable handheld out there. It's not the most powerful, but against all odds, Valve has released a product that not only changed the industry when it launched, but has continued to provide a clean, bloat-free gaming experience that nobody seems to be able to compete with. And I think part of the reason why they're so successful is because of the grip that Valve has on the PC gaming industry as a whole. Even before the launch of the Steam Deck, Steam has been around since late 2002. And the only reason they started was literally just to make updating Counter-Strike and Half-Life suck less. Since then, they have ballooned into the de facto option for anybody that wants to purchase basically any PC game. And with the release of the Steam Deck, so many people have actually been able to finish their enormous backlog of games. Quick resume is a dream. Steam OS is polished to the point where it feels like Windows will never catch up. And it's just so comfortable to hold and use. The Steam Deck has changed the way that people interact with their games, and it has changed the way that I interact with my PC games. Now, when it comes to the actual hardware of the Steam Deck, Valve was cooking more than when Sokka started dropping bars in front of all those haiku girls.
Squish squash, sling that slang.
It is honestly one of the most comfortable pieces of tech I have ever held, which is crazy because it looks like they just took a Wii U gamepad, painted it black, and called it a day. Bro, sometimes I just hold this thing like an idiot and pretend to play games because I don't actually have enough time to play anything, and I just want to hold it. It's that comfortable. It's made out of plastic, but that's actually a good thing because it's already sort of heavy, and I don't even want to try to imagine how heavy the deck would be if it were made out of metal or something more premium. Plus, even though it's big, it's nowhere near some of the house-sized handhelds that are getting released lately. Anybody who wants to use one of those literally gives me the same vibe as people who use iPads to take pictures. Like, yeah, you can see better, but there's gotta be a better way than this. The deck is also pretty sturdy and doesn't flex or bend in any way. Now, I personally am not worried about breaking it because my biceps are probably thinner than Jake the dog's, but the buttons are also really satisfying to use, and they're a little bit mushy, but that's actually how I like my buttons. And the thumbsticks are honestly some of the most comfortable that I have ever used. Maybe that's just because I've been using a 3D printed joystick for the majority of my gaming lately, but they are so comfortable. The D-pad, on the other hand, is a little more awkward to play with, and I almost never find myself using it. It's fine, it works great, and it doesn't feel bad to use it. It's just you have a little bit less of an actual grip on the console when you're using it. Also, the back buttons are mostly just a cool gimmick. I tried using them for a couple of games, but trying to think really hard about which button I'm supposed to press to jump instead of just using A or something feels stupid when I want to sit down, turn my brain off, and play a game or two in the evening. The trackpads, on the other hand, are honestly one of the main reasons that I purchased the deck over a different handheld in the first place. They're really intuitive to use and make this actually feel like a PC in your hands and not just some other random console or a Nintendo Switch. Plus, the haptics in the trackpads are out of this world. When you move your thumb around, they sort of click softly, giving you a very tactile experience while navigating around in desktop mode. They've also done the same thing that Apple has done with their trackpad, where you press on it, it feels like you're clicking, but there's no actual button. It's just the vibration motor. They've tuned the trackpads incredibly well, and I love using them. The display on the Steam Deck is also just mind-blowing. I knew that OLED screens were cool just because they make movies look really pretty, but I didn't realize how incredible and immersive it would be to play games on a screen like this until I actually had it in my grubby little hands. The 90 Hz refresh rate makes a huge difference over 60, which sounds dumb, but I will give you an Oreo and a half if you still prefer 60 after trying 90. And even though the display is only 1280 by 800, since it's only 7 inches, everything still looks really sharp. Plus, the screen being a lower resolution gives you better performance and battery life, which is a win-win in my opinion. None of the hardware would even matter though if the software experience was garbage. Whoever decided the deck should just run on Linux must have opened their third eye, because SteamOS feels like this beautiful middle ground between giving you a super easy to use console experience that makes jumping into a game incredibly simple, while also giving you the freedom of a full-blown PC to do whatever you want with it. People have literally used their Steam Deck as their main PC, since you can just dock it and hook it up to a couple of monitors, which I think is really cool. One of the main reasons that I watch YouTube instead of playing games sometimes is because how easy it is to pause a video and come back to it later. This is exactly the feeling that I get from the sleep and wake feature on the Steam Deck. It is so easy to play a game for a while, take a break, or to fold the laundry or whatever other adult chores you need to do, and then come back to your games when you're done with basically no lag time. That right there is one of the things that has made an incredibly huge difference for me, because I mostly just like watching YouTube videos. It's very simple, it's easy, I can grab my phone and just watch a video for a minute and then put it down and come back to it later. But the Steam Deck gives me that experience. It fills that void that I'm trying to fill by getting rid of YouTube. Honestly, if I didn't play Fortnite with the boys every couple of weeks, Eat dirt, bro. I would 100% be using Linux as my main operating system. Windows feels like it's being held together with popsicle sticks and Elmer's glue as of late. And this is even worse in the handheld scene. They do seem to be trying with the new Xbox handheld they just released, but it just feels like it's almost too little too late. Heck, my main PC has been crashing way more than it ever used to. Windows is so full of useless garbage like Copilot and Edge that it makes me want to rip my hair out, especially, oh my gosh, I use a Mac for work, so I press Command-C to copy, but Command-C on Windows opens Copilot. It makes me want to explode. When it comes to other Valve hardware though, they had a pretty rough start. The Steam Link was novel and it did get you out of your office like the Steam Deck does, but it couldn't actually run anything on its own, and you would still need a powerful PC plus a decent internet connection to use it. The Steam Controller, another product that they released, would seem like a flop if you looked at it from the surface, but then you realize that this goofy looking mashup of a controller and a trackpad has an absolute cult following. Some people have even gone as far as creating their own controllers, and they honestly look sick. All of these quote-unquote failures showed Valve the kinds of things that people were excited about though, and how to best deliver a console-like experience to PC gamers. And that was what they took into the Steam Deck. They took all the lessons that they learned and built this absolute marvel of a console. So I found the Valve prototypes for the Steam controller, and there's something. So we've got the first one that's literally just held together with tape. We've got a volleyball, a piece of cardboard, some twisted up gum, a normal controller, question mark, just with no buttons, and like whatever this is. Like what even? Another reason people are really excited about the Steam Deck is the ideology that Valve has behind it. I personally think the idea that you can buy something and it's not immediately going to be outdated is huge. And that is why people buy a Steam Deck instead of a different handheld. The constant question of, should I wait until the next version comes out? Or is the newest release a big enough upgrade to warrant purchasing it? Is not even a question with the Steam Deck. Valve has literally said that they are not planning on upgrading the deck until mobile computing makes huge leaps forward. And that might be a while. Not only that, I have heard of the craziest stories of people getting their Steam Decks replaced by Valve, even though they're broken or out of warranty or were purchased by a third party something, right? It feels so out of the ordinary to have a company that actually wants to take care of the people that support them. And Valve has shown they take care of us, of the gamers, of the people that support them. But even having said all of this, one of the best reasons to get a Steam Deck is because it gets you away from your desk, out of your office, and lets you actually play the games you purchased 3 or 4 Steam sales ago. I've been really interested in the idea of mental zoning lately, which isn't what it's called, but that's what I'm gonna call it, which is basically the idea that different rooms should be for different things. For example, one of the reasons that I fall asleep so quickly is because I don't just hang out in my bedroom very often. I don't play games or read books in bed. My bed is for sleeping, and that's it. So when I get in bed, my body's like, yep, it's time to sleep. We can apply this same concept to gaming. If our office is where we work, hang out with friends, play games, lift weights, just kidding, I don't do that, then our brains don't know which thing to focus on when we're there. The Steam Deck gives us a chance to take gaming out of the room where we do all of these other things and focus on those games again. With the Steam Deck, it feels like you can basically do whatever you want. You want to play Elden Ring? I mean, sure, it's maybe not going to run amazing, but go for it. You want to stream Cyberpunk from your PC? Dude, totally. You want to take it to your friend's house and have a LAN party? I mean, yeah, why not? Like all of your games are already on there. Want to play some retro games? Yo, retro gaming on the deck just feels right. Feels like the Steam Deck was made to play basically any game from any age, from the earliest to many of the most recently released. Aside from maybe a couple of harder to emulate Switch games, this thing can do anything. Talented developers over at EmuDeck have made the process of adding retro games directly to your deck home screen a total breeze. It's easy to set up and gives you the opportunity to play so many of the wonderful games that you played as a kid or maybe didn't get the chance to. And maybe now you will get that chance. Now, even though the internet will tell you to just get a Steam Deck, it's not perfect and it's not for everyone. It isn't the most powerful handheld out there. It's big and bulky, which doesn't exactly lead to the most portable experience. It is portable, just not pocketable, and it isn't really all that cheap, especially with the cheapest model being recently discontinued. But some people would actually consider this the greatest tech product that they've purchased in the last decade. That's a pretty bold claim, but I think the Steam Deck might just live up to that hype. And so, almost 4 years after it originally launched, the Steam Deck continues to be one of the coolest pieces of tech that I have purchased and has given me the opportunity to continue to enjoy my games and still cuddle with my wife at the same time. No. Please share your thoughts and comment down below. I love chatting with everyone about how awesome the Steam Deck is, and I will catch you in the next one.